Having a tidy space might feel like it's out of reach. I understand, I was the worst. But there are 5 facts about tidy people and what they know, and once you know them too, I think that you'll be a lot more successful in keeping your space tidy. Hi, my name is Mindy, and I talk about making space in our lives for important things. So fact number 1 about tidy people have tidy habits. And maybe you've heard this one before, I did too, but I didn't necessarily understand it until I read James Clear, Atomic Habits. And I'll link to that book below, it's super helpful. Tidy people have habits, and habits can be linked to a time or an event. There's a lot more to it, and you have to read the book. Hey, if you want me to do a book review or a summary of it, let me know in the comments below because I would love to talk more about that book. Habits can be linked to time or an event. So for instance, if you mop your floor every Sunday morning, then that's a time, right? Like 8 o'clock in the morning every Sunday, you mop your floor. That is a habit that you have that is tied to a time. If you have a habit that is, say, linked to an event, then maybe every time you walk in the door, instead of like throwing your coat on the couch, you go ahead and hang it up and stick it in the coat closet, okay? That would be a habit that is tied to an event. Tidy people have all of these habits, and they are tied to times and events, and added up together, they create a general tidiness. Number 2, it only takes about 10 of these habits to have a pretty reasonable space. Now, I'm not saying that your house is going to be like Pinterest worthy every second of the day, but to be honest, I don't think that's true for tidy people either. But the fact is, if you just pick up 10 habits, in general, your space is going to be amazing. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not that easy. They're big habits, okay? But keeping your dishes under control, keeping your laundry under control, keeping your floors washed, keeping the bathrooms wiped. Okay, so if you add up even just those 4 things, you would find that you'd have a very tidy space compared to what you might currently have. By the way, it would be so helpful to me if you'd click the like button. It helps the algorithm spread this video to other people. And if you like this kind of thing, then hit the subscribe button so that we have a chance to spend more time together. And that ties me into fact 3 that tidy people know, which is that even just 2 or 3 of these habits will make a huge difference. You don't have to have 10 habits that you're great at doing all the time in order to be generally relatively tidy. I mean, 10 habits is great, but even if you lock down 2 habits, just dishes and laundry, think about how different your life would be. For me, it was a game changer. I started with dishes, and I'll tell you, it changed my life. I know that sounds so dramatic, like I do the dishes now and it changed my life, but I'm telling you that it's true for me. By the way, stick around until the end because after the 5th fact, I'm going to share with you what finally made my habits stick and how I was able to keep my tidy habits ultimately. So if you failed in the past and you keep trying, just stick around because I'm going to talk about that. And I think that this tip is really going to help you. It changed everything for me. Fact number 4 about tidy people, they count the cleaning time with the task. Once I understood this, oh my gosh, okay? For instance, it takes me about 40 minutes to make breakfast and eat it. That's for me and my daughter, that's the cooking time, that's making my scrambled eggs, that's us sitting down and enjoying breakfast together. For me, even learning that it took 40 minutes for that to happen was a big change. Just being able to budget my time that way and helped me to not be late. But here's the thing, it takes 40 minutes to make breakfast and eat it, but it takes 20 minutes to clean up. So how long did it really take to make breakfast? It takes an hour. Once I understood this and I could budget an hour to make breakfast, eat breakfast, clean up from breakfast, and have plenty of time, things were so much easier for me. And my space automatically was tidier because I was cleaning up as I go. Everyone says, oh, tidy people clean as they go. I understand what that means, but when it came down to it, I would be like, but I have to leave now and I can't tidy as I go. Well, it's because I needed to count that time, figure out how much time that took, and then plan in that time. Another example of that was grocery shopping. So grocery shopping for me, I always thought took an hour and a half. 15 minutes to drive to the store, an hour to shop, 15 minutes to drive home. So did it take an hour and a half to shop? No. It took 2 hours to go to the store, shop, drive home, and put away the groceries. Again, life-changing to me. These are things that tidy people know, but I didn't know it. Do you know it? I didn't know it. Fact number 5 ties in with fact number 4, which is that tidy people know how much time a task takes. For instance, I used to look at dishes, emptying the dishwasher, and be like, oh, I have to empty the dishwasher today. Like it was some big project. Dana K. White, she has a blog, A Slob Comes Clean, and she has a book too. I'll link the book below. It's a fantastic book about learning in general to declutter and keep clean. She talks about how we can create these project brains where even these kind of relatively small things become a big project. And for me, emptying the dishwasher was a big project. And she specifically talks about emptying the dishwasher in her book and how it takes 4 minutes. And she knows because she timed herself. So I couldn't help it. I timed myself. And you know what? It took about 4 minutes. Maybe 5 minutes if it was really full. So learning that was like, oh my gosh, I only need 4 minutes to empty the dishwasher. That meant suddenly, if I had 10 minutes before I needed to leave the house for an appointment, I could use 4 of those minutes to empty the dishwasher. It just really catapulted how I was able to fit in small tasks throughout the day because I suddenly understood it wasn't like some huge thing. I don't know how long I actually thought it took to empty the dishwasher, but I thought it was a lot longer than 4 minutes. And certainly it made the task seem much more manageable once I realized that it's just actually a quite small amount of time. So I told you at the end there was going to be a bonus, and I want to tell you what's finally stopped me from failing at being tidy. Dana K. White talks in her book about not only do you have to develop these habits of being tidy, but you have to find the best way to do the thing. And the best way doesn't mean perfection. The best way means how can you actually complete it every day. So that's when we quit, right? Because I'm going to use the example of dishes. So after a few days of doing the dishes and putting my daughter to bed and then going downstairs and there's a disaster and I'm unloading the clean dishes and I'm trying to get the scraped on stuff off and get the dishes into the dishwasher. And I was like, I can't do it. I'm not a tidy person and I'm never going to be a tidy person. That's the moment where the habit's going to fail, right? It's not sticking. I remembered something from Dana's book, which is that we need to find the best way for us to get the thing done. Okay? So I was like, this is too hard and I can't make it stick. But the dishes do need to be done. So I just need a better way. So from there, I started trying to do some of the dishes directly after dinner and at least getting them scraped and kind of cleaned up a little bit and by the sink. And from there, I realized that if the clean dishes were out of the way in the morning, that would kind of make the rest of the day smoother. So I tried to empty the dishwasher in the morning, but then even that wasn't successful because I would have to, because I emptied the dishwasher and I woke everybody in the house up because I wake up before everybody else. So it was a process of me learning the best way for me to be able to complete the task throughout the day. And so what you have to do is not just create a habit to try and stick with, but you have to actually create a habit that will evolve over time, that works for you until you finally settle into a rhythm. I have a habit now that I've stuck with for many years, and for the payoff, I'll tell you what it is. After breakfast, I empty the clean dishes out of the dishwasher, and then I take the breakfast dishes and I put them directly in the dishwasher, and then I wash the pans and I wipe the table and the counter, which seemed like so much to do before, but I've done it so many times now, and I do have the time in the morning. I work in the time. Like I said, breakfast takes an entire hour because 20 minutes of it is cleaning up and making sure everything's put away. Then at lunch, I do the same thing, and then at dinner, I don't always get them all put away because we have some family time, and I don't want my tidying to cut too much into our family time. But after my daughter goes to bed, I really just have a couple of things to take care of at that point, if anything at all. So if we just stick with our habits, that's the tip, is that you have to stick with it when it seems impossible. It means you need to shift your approach and find a better way. Because at the point that it seems impossible and you're not going to stick with it, that is the point that you are on the brink of success. So if you can just remember that. And now I remember that when I'm going to pick up a new habit or a new tidying routine, I have to keep trying until I find the thing that works. So I super hope that is helpful to you. It was so helpful to me. I'm still working on it because my house is not Pinterest perfect or that organized, but hopefully over time it will get there, and I'm hoping that we can work on it together and that you'll come with me because I think it's super cool. If you would comment below and tell me what's the first tidy habit that you'd like to pick up, that would be so cool for me to see. Thank you so much for watching. I super appreciate it, and I'll see you guys next week in the next video.